Sound advice.
All right, yo. Welcome back to another episode of Sound Advice.
Hello.
We here.
I am 1/3 of your host, Marcus.
I don't like that. I'm Kelsey.
I'm Kirsten.
I mean, I didn't know how else to put that.
We're just one person here.
Yeah.
I am how will we say that though?
Mark Helston.
Okay.
Wow, that was quick.
Okay.
I think that was
That was kind of weird, but I'll take it.
Hey.
Anyway, yeah, welcome back to Sound Advice, the episode, what am I saying? The podcast where we give you sound advice every episode.
And guys, this is our last episode of the season.
It can't be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, the final episode. But yeah, this is the final episode of the first season.
It's the final
episode.
Marcus is judging.
Well, anyway, let's just get it in with the first segment.
We're not good with the small talk stuff, so let's just do the
This
segments.
is awkward, guys. We'll address that later.
What?
Yo, bring us in, Kirsten.
With
What's
that
up with the first
hilarious
segment?
funniness, let's talk about something serious.
No.
Okay. Well, our first topic we're going to have today is a little different than usual, but we're going to go back to our 2 cents. We haven't done that in a really long time.
Ching ching.
Oh, true. Cha-ching. 2 cents. So today we're going to talk overall about like gun laws basically, but then also tie in social media, which I know is kind of confusing, but let's just get into it. So I'm sure as you guys all know or hear about the Cleveland guy who, basically this guy in Cleveland, he went on Facebook Live and he was just driving around town, talking about his ex-girlfriend and how upset she made him. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go kill people. So not to be graphic, but like he saw this guy in the street, said, all right, I'm just going to kill this guy. Didn't know him or anything, went up to him, shot him in the face, point blank. It was like this old 78-year-old man, which is very sad. And he claimed he killed 14 people, and then he was on the run for basically a day. And then as of today, the police surrounded him, and he shot himself. So obviously, there's a lot of speculation with mental health with this guy. Nothing has come clear yet, but a lot are saying, like, listen to what he said on Facebook Live. There's also something mentally wrong here. But other people are saying that's an excuse. But at the end of the day, he had a gun and he killed an innocent person with it. So this isn't really advice, but maybe just more into our opinions of the gun laws in America today.
It's scary out there.
It's scary out there, yes.
But I think with the mentally ill thing, like, nobody who goes around killing people is, like, mentally sound, and I think that's important to recognize, but also to say, like, that's the only issue is bad, because I think gun laws in general, like, it's so easy to get a gun. It's so easy to, like, we could walk up to, like, any store right now and show an ID, and it's just like, okay, hand me a gun.
Right.
And so I think the access to it is also a huge problem. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, I think, recently Trump allowed mentally ill people to get guns again. So under Obama's administration.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, under Obama's administration, like if you were, I don't know the clarifications of mentally ill, like where the line was drawn for that, but in theory, mentally ill people couldn't get guns, just, in case of those issues. But now Trump like reversed that, so they can again. And yeah, so I mean, it's interesting to see like in the next 4 years, like what will that do to the number of innocent people killed by guns, in my opinion.
Yeah, can't lie. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm really not. That sounds really scary. But in regards to gun laws, I think that guns are just a bad idea in general. But that's because I'm a pacifist, so I don't believe in violence. But just to be able to, I guess, get access to a weapon that could pretty much instantly kill anybody from like almost any distance, I just don't think that that's safe in the hands of, just your average citizen. But, I mean, I totally understand why we have the Second Amendment because, it's to protect yourself from either, robbers, other people who are trying to kill other people or, even the government. So I get why it's there, but at the same time, I mean, having this access to these weapons is just going to cause problems. I mean, it's just inevitable.
Yeah, and I think if we look at different countries, like it's astounding the differences of their gun laws between ours. And these are countries that are not seen as third world or this like regime that's controlling people. It's just normal, European countries, and they're free and they're capitalist, stuff like that. And they just have a lot stricter gun laws, and there's so many less deaths that happen every year. And I think just looking at that alone is obvious that guns are the problem at the end of the day. Like being able to get a gun, no matter what your background is and stuff, that's an issue. And I don't think, it's just weird to me that for a lot of people, that's what America stands for, is guns. And I think that's just sad. And I think at the end of the day, it's worth it to scale back on that. Because I mean, I don't know. I want to do, how often do people actually need to use their guns for safety? You know what I mean? Like, most of the killings are for innocent people, not like because they're scared of them, not because they're attacking them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think human nature is just weird. Like, in general, I guess kind of going back to the mentally ill thing, but like, why do people like feel the need to kill? I really don't get that. And I don't think anybody gets that, but I don't know. I think I always just get caught on that. It's like, what's the motive behind it? Like, I was reading recently about Columbine, the high school shooting, and it was these 2 young kids, and, you know, they were, like, socially outcasted, but, like, I don't think that prompts so many people to actually kill somebody. So it's like, what's making them be like that?
I mean, sorry.
No,
You
go
can
ahead, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Well, when you listen to what the guy said, his name was Steve Stevens.
Yeah.
Interesting name, whatever.
Don't gotta say his name.
But the guy, he in his videotapes, he was talking about how his girlfriend was driving him insane, which is why he was doing what he was doing. And like what you were saying, Kelsey, it's strange to see, you know, things that would drive a person to the point of killing somebody. And I mean, personally, I don't think that would be enough to make me want to kill somebody, or anybody should want to kill somebody because their significant other is driving them through the roof. I mean, wouldn't you just break up with them or try to resolve whatever's happening? I don't really see that.
Yeah, that's actually like an abuse tactic in like most situations. Like, I know a lot of men, especially, I don't know if it's all men, whatever, men will like turn to alcohol or like drugs, and then they'll blame it on their spouse and be like, I drink or I do all these drugs because of you, and like it puts the blame on someone else instead of them.
Yeah, he was talking about how he gambled pretty much everything he owned away, and he did blame it on his lady.
Yeah, it's just a way to like put the blame on someone else. But I think we can talk about social media because that's interesting. Like, Facebook was saying they took like way too long to even track down this guy's information. Like, nobody even reported it as this guy was like confessing that like, hey, I'm going to go out and kill people live on social media. So I think that's very interesting that nobody really did anything.
Yeah, I think that's scary. Okay, does anyone know the term where you're watching something but you don't do anything?
Bystander effect.
Bystander effect, but instead of being in person, you're literally just hundreds and thousands. Who knows how many people are watching? You're all watching the same thing. You all think this is scary, but in your head, you're like, well, I'm not in the area, so I can't call the police, or I don't know this guy. All these, like, self-explanations, you know, just to justify your own self and, like, what you did or didn't do. And I think that's really scary. Recently, there was a kid who... He was on Instagram Live, and he found, I guess, his parents' gun, and he accidentally shot himself and killed himself.
Yeah, I heard about that guy.
I didn't.
And, I mean, a lot of neighbors and stuff immediately, like, showed up at the house because they were watching, but a lot of people were just watching this kid play with this gun and, like, not say anything, or maybe, so actually someone egged him on and said, oh, you should load it, and that's when he started loading it, and he shot himself.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's why, because someone was, like, egging him on to do it.
Imagine being that person egging them on, like...
Yeah, like, how can you even live with yourself?
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue with social media, is that it creates this kind of bubble you put yourself in of like, oh, it's not here happening in front of me, so like it's not affecting me at all. And I think that's really dangerous. And it kind of sucks because Facebook is getting a lot of blame. I see your point of they didn't find his information, but also like Facebook is just like all social media is just a platform, and people choose what they want to do on it, which can be really good or obviously really bad. So I think it's kind of hard to blame Facebook because a lot of times when companies start restricting a lot of their stuff, people get angry, like, oh, this is supposed to be the internet, I can do whatever. But then issues like this happen, and they're like, oh, why don't you watch this more? So I think that's a really hard game for Facebook. But what do you guys think about also the aspect of him saying he killed 14 people on his Facebook, but they've only found one person, so it seems like this is a lie, but a lot of media believed it because he said it. So what do you think about that aspect?
I don't know what to think. I think a lot of it kind of ties into like the whole fake news thing that's going on, because like if anybody says something, people immediately believe it and run with it, which is really scary because lately like you don't know who to trust or like who to get your news from, because anything can be a lie, like anything goes. But also it's weird that he would even say that to begin with. Like, I don't know if he was trying to make himself like look cool or for killing all these people or whatever, but I don't know. It's very odd to me.
I don't get it though, because like you said, in his videos, he was saying that he killed all these people when so far we have no evidence that he's proved more or that he's killed more than just that one guy. But I just don't see why he would lie about something like that. Like, why would you lie about something that serious, you know? And then he was like, in the video, he was talking about how people were like responding to his post asking, hey, is this real? Is this real life? And he's laughing at him like, of course this is real, when, you know, that's probably not the case, because they still haven't found any other people that have like succumbed to him. So I don't see why he would lie about something like that. But, and then especially like, because we were talking about this earlier before the podcast started, like the way that he died, because he ended up taking his own life running from the police, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I feel as though if he actually killed all those people and then he's like worried about the justice system coming to him, then I could see him taking his own life. But like if he only killed one person, even though he's going to have some serious punishments for that, I don't see why he would take his own life.
I think that ties back maybe to a mental thing. And again, it's not, we're not going to try and blame like a mental, because a lot of people have mental disabilities, but they don't kill people. You know, it's not like an aspect of it. But it could be a proponent of maybe like his decisions and his irrational thinking. Again, and he had a gun somehow. But another thing, this is more on the advice trail that I want to kind of lean to, is for our listeners, like what kind of ways do you get your news sources? Because it is hard these days to trust some social media. So I was just gonna ask, I guess, what ways do you get news that you know is true and that you know you can believe?
I think, well, me and Kirsten last week, we saw Chelsea Handler, and she had some interesting opinions, but I think one of the things she did address is kind of this, and she kind of noted, like, all the very, like, reasonable news sources, like CNN and I forget what else was CNN for me.
BBC and NPR.
What about NBC? Is NBC one of them?
It's pretty leftist, but they usually do report the facts.
Yeah.
I mean, not pretty leftist. Like, it has a slight leftist leaning, people say. My opinion, it doesn't. But, I mean, at the prime time it does, because there's people giving their opinions during prime time. But the news itself is just news.
Yeah, so I think if you just stay away from, like, those very radical, like, right or left news sources, you're kind of okay. But at the same time, like, if anything, you should just, like, fact-check everything. Like, go to multiple sources, like, do some background for any weird news. And it's a shame that we have to do that, because news sources are supposed to be the truth, but here we are.
Yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Just the fact that we'd have to fact-check something like that. I mean, how are you going to be a troll almost and just post news, even if it's biased, and then cause this strange, this strange atmosphere that you're giving this image of information that's not completely accurate. I mean, that's just messed up. And then, of course, you know that there's going to be people who just, you know, see one article, see one news header, and they're going to just go with it, say, yo, this is what's happening in the world. And that can cause problems. That can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, and I forget, this is just a story I read a long time ago, but a reporter did this quote-unquote experimentation where he said a certain person died, like a certain famous person. He wanted to see how fast it would spread on Twitter, and it spread obviously tremendously. Then he said, oh, this experiment. He ended up getting, he lost his job at his news station. But I think, yeah, I mean, that's a small thing, like a star dying compared to, you know, not a small thing, but, you know, and I think, like, on Twitter for me as well, like, if I read something, I will believe it just because I'm like, oh, this person I trust. If they retweet it from an account, it could be fake or something. I don't even know. Like, I need to get myself better at not just believing everything I read on Twitter, because I think it's because it's so fast. And I'm like, oh, okay, that happened. But yeah, like Kelsey said, it's really important. It sounds kind of annoying to have to go fact check, I think. But I think for your own knowledge of what's happening, you really need to do that. And you also need to look at different sources too, like CNN. Okay, they said this. What did this person say? And kind of like see what's really out there.
Not really related to news, but I think even like other content, like people can like tell you it's fake, but people, I guess, like confirmation bias or something, people will like think for some reason that it's real, even if they're told it's fake. Like I know there was one video, it was like a comedy video. It was a girl walking the streets of New York. She was like replying like in comedy to like all these people who were catcalling her. and it was fake, and like the description and everything said it was fake, but people were like, "Oh, this girl is awesome," and it's like that's not realistic.
That's a very good point. YouTube videos, like, they'll literally say this is fake, but like people cut that out and just play what they think is real.
Yeah, and even this is more obscure, but I watched the Craig Ferguson show on SiriusXM, and Sirius doesn't have ratings, but Craig Ferguson, like every show, he's like, "Oh, we're number 2 on Sirius," and like he says, like it's a lie. He's like, "I'm just telling people because they will believe it." And people call into his show every time, and they're always like, "Congratulations on being number 2." And he's like, "No, it's fake. Like I say this, but like it's not real, and this is scary because it's like, it's fake news, but." People run with it. I don't know.
Yeah, tune certain stuff out, but I'll listen to other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think just to like wrap up the segment, like I know it's very simple, obvious advice, but I think a lot of people don't think about it when they're scrolling through Twitter or Facebook. They immediately think, actually, do you guys remember there's these fake news things on Facebook that would say this actor's coming to your town?
Mm-hmm.
And I believed it a few times.
Yeah.
But it was just like made for wherever you were located. It said your town.
Mm-hmm.
So even little stuff like that, like you really need. See, for me, I see something and I like immediately tell my friends, and then it's like, I'm like, oh, this is awkward. This is not right. So.
Sounds like a virus.
Probably though.
But even like if you're gonna tell your friends if it's something small like that, you should really fact check too, so you don't look stupid.
Yeah.
All right. So who's up next?
Is it me?
That's you.
All right, so segment 2. Tips appreciated.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes.
All right, so for this one, we're going to give you some tips on how to have awkward conversation with people who are sort of your friends, but more of acquaintances, just awkward people that you usually have awkward times trying to conversate with.
My least favorite thing.
Yeah, interaction with those people.
You said how to have awkward talks, so do you mean like how to not have awkward conversations?
Right, yeah, how to not make it awkward.
How
or
to
how
make
to
it
go
awkward.
through this awkward conversation and make it less awkward.
This is my weakness, so I'm trail behind on this one.
See, for me, I think like if the other person is just way more awkward than you, it's almost kind of funny. And like for me, I feel fine because I'm like, this person feels so uncomfortable and like for no reason, and it's almost kind of funny that like I could say whatever and they just feel awkward. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
No, you're right
Yeah.
about that.
Because you feel fine because you're like, okay, I'm not the awkward one here.
Yeah, you're like the dominant one. So
Right.
it's like, they're superior. They're not superior, they're inferior.
And you could just be like if it's silent, they feel awkward, but you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But
No, seriously, that's happened to me very recently. I mean, there's this person I know, great person. I mean, she's a nice person, but she's a very awkward person. So I would talk to her, just an acquaintance, and I just say, hey, how you been? How's this? How's that? And she's kind of like shaking and just like, oh yeah, and I'm just like, oh, it's okay, And seeing how awkward she is actually just makes you feel more confident. And
yeah, which is kind of sad.
I mean,
They're
it's
probably
sad, but
dying.
it's true. And then it's like at the same time, especially if they're really awkward, like you want to help them feel less awkward, and that helps the conversation.
Yeah.
Actually, we usually diss Marcus, but this time I'm going to compliment you. I know the first time I met you, Kirsten wanted to introduce us, and we went downstairs to the basement of our dorm, and we were going to play pool. And I had never really played pool before, and I, hate meeting new people, so I was, terrified to meet, Kirsten's friends.
Dang, that must have been rough. Like, you were going to meet this new dude, and you didn't know how to play pool.
Yep, exactly. So I got down there, and I was like, oh, hey, people. But Marcus, you were like, yo, let's be on a team. I'll, teach you how to play. And I was like, sweet. And then you were really funny. And I was just like, hey.
I appreciate that. I'm not getting dissed.
No,
At least not yet.
No, Marcus,
Not
if you're with a friend that he doesn't know, or even you don't know really, but you run into Marcus, I think he makes it very comfortable, and it's not. Even if you're in a group of friends together and he's the only one that doesn't know anyone, he fits in fine.
Yeah.
So that's a good what's the word?
You guys making me blush.
So
Black
how do you
people don't
do
blush.
that, Marcus?
Yeah. Teach us.
I mean, I feel as though, firstly, you just have to understand, once you understand the situation, you have power over it, at least some power. So when you know, for example, that you're in this awkward situation, you can I guess, what's the word? You can, I guess, look back, reflect, and then say, okay, let me try to do something about it. So first off, sometimes pointing out obvious things is a really easy way to start conversation and then make it less awkward. So for example, sometimes I'll see people that I know that I've seen them before, but I'll constantly be looking at them yo, where do I know you from? And then they'll give me eye contact, and then you kind of do that weird dart thing where you dart your eyes away, and then you both make that awkward eye contact again. You know what I'm talking about?
A little bit.
You both kind of look at each other, but you're trying not to look at each other
Because you don't want to say hi.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So then sometimes what I'll do is I'll just walk up to them and I'll be like, hey, like, I mean, I know I've seen you somewhere, and I was just trying to see, like, where I remember you from. And even if you don't remember where they're from, or even if you're straight lying, like, it's just an easier way to get to talk to them and then make it less awkward. You feel me?
I suppose.
Like, just be like, hey, like, I know I remember you from somewhere, so that's why I kept looking at you. And then they're like, oh, yeah,
See,
we talked over here.
If you're like far away from me, I'm just gonna keep looking down. Like I'm not gonna approach you.
I'll like pick up my phone and like
Yeah.
look down.
I hate when you meet someone freshman year, you talk for like 2 weeks, and then junior year you see them and you're like, you definitely remember them, they definitely remember you, but like you have nothing to say.
Yeah, now sometimes, situations like that, that was one of my points to talk on, is that sometimes the best thing to do is to, straight up ignore them as if you're strangers. So, there's people that you know, and then there's acquaintances, and I feel like there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's people that you know, and it's just like, I've seen you before, like we might have talked once or twice, but that doesn't mean that we're friends or acquaintances. Like you're just some dude that I can recognize.
Right.
So those kind of people, like, it's okay, like you can just ignore them. But like the way to make it awkward is to like, constantly look like, you know them, and then still ignore them. Like that's kind of awkward. So like you gotta just be like, yo, straight up off the bat, you're like, okay, I know this person, but I'm not really trying to talk to him. Just ignore it.
Like you're completely into something else, right?
Yeah.
See, I have that thing sometimes where I'm like, oh, okay, they're an acquaintance, so I'm gonna wave, and then like they don't see it, and then we just walk by each other.
Yeah, I think waving's honestly like a good tactic. Even like a head nod, it's like, oh,
No,
I
but then
know
it makes
you.
me feel terrible because they don't even see it or acknowledge me.
Well, then that's kind of bad. But this happened to me the other day. I was carrying equipment back to work, and this kid that we know walked past me, and he was like, oh, hey, he lifted a hand, and I lifted my hand, and then we kept walking, and I was like, that was a perfect interaction.
Yeah, that's a great interaction. Sometimes all it takes is like you said, a nod of the head or a wave.
I just smile like that white person video, they're like,
Oh, yeah. Just kind of like curl their lips.
I literally just do that every time.
I feel you.
If
Oh,
I make eye
man.
contact.
But,
That's hilarious.
But there's actually your roommate, Sanjay. I hope he's listening. Hey, Sanjay. He's one of those people who, like, I don't really know him, but, like, I like him. Like, I know him enough to be like, oh, that's Sanjay if I see him.
Mm-hmm.
And one time, I was sitting outside Wrights. I don't even know if he would remember this or anything, but I was sitting outside Wrights, and he was, like, walking past me, and I kind of, like, made eye contact with him, but I was like, oh, do I say hi? I don't know. And I didn't even, like, do the wave or anything. I was just, like, kind of staring at him to see what he would do.
Yeah.
But he's one of those people who are, like, also,
Gotta go.
like, no, like, who's, like, more awkward than you, like, the dominance thing. Not that I'm, like, dominant to Sanjay, but, I don't know, like, we just kind of made eye contact, and then he just went on his way, and I was like,
That makes you feel so bad, too.
I know. So sorry, Sanjay, if that happened, and you remember
His name is, what's Cliffy?
Cliffy.
His
Nah, I
name
don't
is-
care. I like Sanjay, but that was a rough moment.
Yeah. It can be rough. It's like when you're in that situation, like you have to go for it if you feel like, yo, like if you feel like you're on the side where you're like, yo, I should probably say something rather than I probably shouldn't, then you should actually try to say something.
Okay, so what about someone that's like actually with you? Say like you're in a group of 3 and your good friend like walks away and you're just with this person you don't know too well, or you're just stuck with someone in an elevator that you definitely kind of should say something to because you know them. Like, what about that?
Okay, well, first I would say like small talk is a big thing. Like you gotta know how to say. And it's kind of sad, but you just have to know how to say worthless stuff. Like
It's true.
just know how to say stuff about nothing or just stuff that really doesn't matter in their lives. Like, something about the weather. Like if the weather's been acting up, like you can talk about it.
Been
It's just,
acting up.
yeah, like, if, for example, like if it's been raining really hard, you can definitely say something about it. And then it just creates easy to talk about conversation, or like you could talk about, for example, if you think that they like sports. Sports is something that everybody usually talks about. Yeah, it's
Sure.
whatever.
I think in that situation, it's almost like easier to make small talk because in general, like I cannot do small talk. But like if a friend leaves and I'm stuck with that person, like you can kind of keep picking up on the conversation, or like even I jokingly say like, oh, there goes that loser or whatever. Like I always just jokingly insult my friends, and I think that makes
Or
it
they're
like
what did you just say?
they fight me. But I think that like just breaks the ice where it's like, okay, we can joke around. And
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah. So that was one of my points. What was another one of my points? Let me check.
Well, I think just when you find it, I think a huge thing here at like on college campuses, oh, how's your classes going? Like,
Ugh.
yeah, and it's actually like looking on it, it's annoying, but like in the moment, it's fine because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm actually doing this. Like, what are you, stuff like that. Even if I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
So just talk. You can talk about school. You can talk about work. Like, I think for me, the hard part though, like it comes silent because they're gone too long, and you just want to die inside. Like your friend is gone too long, and you just have to.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Like that was one of my points, is that you have to know when to kind of cut off the conversation. Is that like there's like I feel like there's a point where there's the peak of the conversation where you're talking, and then it's like as fluid as it'll get, and then there's a point where it starts to die down, and then you're gonna feel like it's getting awkward because you're like, okay, it was better a couple minutes ago.
That's always
So it's like you kind of want to bring it back up, but at the same time, like if you know it's gonna die, you can't bringing it back up. It's just gonna make it more awkward. So it's kind of best to just know when it's time to stop. Just be like, okay, and just kind of pull it to a close. And like it's okay to be in silence. I mean, it's awkward, but at the same time, like it's more awkward the more you, I guess, make it a thing. So, like, you can be with friends and not really say anything, or even with acquaintances and not say as much, and it's okay. Like, because just how you're with your friends and you don't always talk. Like, sometimes you're just doing things. Or, like, sometimes you're on your phone, which is also a beautiful thing to use when you're trying to talk to acquaintances.
I hate that. Okay, I'm just gonna. This is like me complaining right now instead of helping. But if I have like a group project, right, and we do our thing, it's like outside of class, and then we come back and like we're waiting for the elevator, and it's like everyone just gets on their phone because they don't want to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And it's seriously the most awkward. Like, I hate it so much. Like, I'm the person that, like, doesn't get on their phone because I'm just, like, it's funny because everyone feels awkward because they're, like, in their individual on their phone, like, trying to act like they're doing something, but you just watch them and it's, like, they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But I hate that.
I've totally done that before. Like, I just pick up my phone and I have nothing to do on it, but I'll just, like, open apps and close apps and just keep doing it until, like,
It's so bad.
I can leave.
It's really funny, though, because that is actually, I feel like that's, like, what the majority of people do. So if you're in, this weird zone where you feel like you're in an awkward situation, like on a bus, for example. Like, I'll take the bus nowadays every now and then, and almost everybody there is, like, on their phone. And I'm like, if I was to make a bet about how many people were actually doing something that was worth something on their phone, it would be, like, probably less than half. Like, most of them are just doing it because, like, they're sitting next to somebody, and they're like, I'm not going to talk to them, and I'm not going to, try to make conversation, so I guess I'll just be on my phone, look like I got something to do.
See, I don't find the bus awkward at all because, like, everyone's just, like, doing it to ride somewhere.
Yeah.
But I do find it awkward if it's the bus seats. Sometimes they have it in the front where they're facing each other. And it's like, if you're not on your phone, where are you supposed to look at their shoes the whole time? That's what I have to do because if you look out the window, they think you're looking at them.
True.
I've been on the bus way too often. But, yeah, I feel like don't feel pressured to be on your phone. Even if everyone's around you doing it, it's honestly kind of nice if everyone else except you is on it because you can, like, chill and you're like, oh, I don't have to talk because they're all on their phone anyways. So don't feel pressured to be on your phone. And like Marcus said, even though it's hard for a lot of people, if you learn to, like, enjoy silence or not let it bother you, it's just smooth sailing because, like, if you're comfortable sitting in silence, it doesn't affect you if they're not comfortable because, like, if you are. So I think that's a big tip.
Yeah, it's just not natural to talk with anybody just the entire day, so it's okay to have breaks where you kind of collect yourself, just chill for a little while, and then once you find something else to talk about, then sure, yeah, bring it up something else, talk about whatever, but you don't have to talk every second until the interaction's over.
Also, I hate when someone is like, wow, this is awkward. Like, why would you say that?
True. Although I feel like sometimes jokes, like if they're pulling it off as a joke, that can be okay. Like jokes cut the tension.
Yeah.
But yeah, that like calls attention to the awkwardness, and you're
it.
like, oh. But also, like, if you do want to talk to somebody, I think it's always good to just keep asking them questions because like people like to talk about themselves, and that way, like, you never really have to say anything on your own. You can just be like, oh, what are you doing today? Blah blah blah. Just like keep putting up questions. And maybe not in a situation like a bus or an elevator, but I think you should always kind of, like, have an out if you can. Like, if you're, like, stuck in a room, be like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be back.
Never return.
Literally. Like, it's always just good to have an escape route.
Oh, that's a really good point. Ask questions. That's literally how I go day to day because I don't really like talking about myself, honestly. Like, I hate when they reverse it. I'm like,
Yeah.
But people love talking about what they're doing and, like, how elite they are and their activities. So definitely ask questions about everything you can possibly think of.
Yeah, if you give people the time of day, I mean, they'll take it, They'll take it. And then especially if you look like you're interested,
Oh, yes.
Like, look like you're interested.
Literally.
Which is, like, it's a big thing. Like, it's a big thing. Like if you're like, oh, how are you doing? You know, and then they're talking about how their day's going, and you're just like, you know, on your phone,
Yeah.
just scrolling through some stuff. You're not listening. It's like, come on, man. Like they're not gonna enjoy that. So yeah, like actually, make eye contact, look at them, like nod, do the weird little thing where you say, yeah, in between what they're saying and stuff, like just, I guess, be an active listener. And it's an important part. And it'll help them feel more, I guess, more fluid? Yeah. They'll feel more fluid. So they'll feel better talking to you.
I think, sorry, for me though, like, I think I'm just like overly fake when it comes to like really nice, like awkward situations. Cause like I can feel like facial muscles like getting weak because I'm just like painting on this awful smile. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm interested in what you're saying.
You got that grin from cheek to cheek.
And it hurts my face because I'm like being fake and I don't know, my muscles don't react.
I have
well.
never heard that before.
Really? Like I just like overact. I think I'm just like, oh yeah.
Yo, Kelsey out there probably looking like the Joker with that big old smile, man.
That's so
I
funny.
don't know how I got these scars. Small talk.
Yo, you tripping, man.
I think also though, like I feel like I'm actually really good at pretending like not that I mean I usually do listen, but that I'm just like I nod a lot and like
Yeah.
if you Marcus said earlier about long distance like eye contact, but if you're next to someone and you ask them a question, they're like going in depth. If you make eye contact with them, it's like then you're like suddenly friends, when they're explaining stuff, and I feel like they feel more welcome. So again, don't be distracted on your phone and stuff. Like actually like make eye contact with them and listen, and honestly, you probably get into a conversation you're actually enjoying, and they start asking you stuff, and it feels a lot more natural than, like, don't try and think of like, oh my god, I can't wait to get out of this. Like, just chill, let it happen, say what you want, listen to what they say. It's probably gonna be interesting some of the time, so don't look at it as like this terrible moment. Just like kind of let it pass.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. So with that, I think we're gonna move on to our last segment ever.
Oh gosh, until fall
17.
2017.
Wow. Coming back fall 2020. Look out.
I was gonna say 2020.
Watch out, we coming back.
All right.
3
Now,
years.
now we'll be back in the fall. So listen for season 2.
Fall for us.
No.
Anyway, all right, guys. Today we are bringing back Hypothetically Speaking, the segment where we talk about hypothetical situations that may or may not happen. And I think this one may not ever happen, but
We've got the master of hypotheticals with us today.
it's me. No, this.
So we've
Kelsey
never
Bone.
heard it before, so this is our first time.
Yeah, these guys don't know what I'm about to say.
I'm actually pretty scared.
I'm sorry in advance. No, it's not bad. It's just stupid. All right. Anyway, okay. So hypothetically speaking, let me set the stage. All right. So your parent, I'll say for you guys, your moms. All right. So your mom messages you on your phone, and she's like, "I have something to tell you, and this is really important." And you have to like come home. So you're sitting at home. It's just you two alone in the house, and she wants to talk to you. She's serious. She's made dinner. She's made a nice lasagna plate.
Got that lasagna,
You know, it smells good.
Mom's
You gotta get all the
spaghetti.
senses. Mom's spaghetti.
Mom's lasagna.
All right, so you're sitting down, and she says, "Okay, listen, honey, sweetie, Pookie,
What?
listen, I've been wanting to tell somebody about this. I have no one else to tell. I'm really scared to address this, but I have been abducted by aliens."
What? What?
I call quits on the segment.
No,
What is happening?
what? And she's dead serious. She says she's been abducted by aliens. What do you do? Do you believe her? Do you think she's psychotic?
Well, yeah, I definitely think she's psychotic. But then at the same time, okay, so first off, I'd have to ask her, I'd have to go into depth, like, what do you mean you were abducted by aliens, Like, why would you even come out and say something like that unless, you're either crazy or you have something to say? So she'd probably have something interesting to talk to me about, she'd say something. But then at the same time, I mean, that's just crazy, What would you say, Clark?
Not to bring the mood down, but I feel like this would be like a mental issue. And I'd be like, honestly, if they were dead serious about it, I'd be like, okay, something went wrong with your head right now. Like, because something could go wrong in any way.
Yeah, and it's like, and when did she get abducted, though? Like, did she get abducted, like,
I mean, I wouldn't believe
during
her,
her
but
9 to 5? Because it's like, if she comes home, like, I'm home, I see her when she's home. So, like, she got abducted during her job.
See, I wouldn't believe her because I would just, like, I feel like my first thought would be like, okay, we need to take you to the doctor. And I feel like it'd be sad because I'd be like, no. But, you watch all those movies where something actually happens and then that person doesn't believe them. But I'm gonna,
Yeah. What about those movies, though? Because you see all those movies where, like the kid's crying wolf, but they're really not crying wolf, and then nobody believes it.
See, listen, my boyfriend like loves aliens and stuff like that, and like he's gotten me into watching these weird shows. I don't even know the names of them. Like there's ghost shows, everyone knows about that, but there's also like alien shows, and it's literally like reenactments of like the Men in Black coming, which is like a real thing people believe, and I forget all these names of things, but like he truly believes like they're out there. So I mean, like because of that, me watching those, maybe eventually I'd come around and be like, okay, like maybe you're telling the truth, because so many people have stories where they say they've been abducted on these shows. Like it's a real belief. And hey, I mean, I can't 100% say I don't believe it. So
True. What if she had like some kind of proof? Like,
yo, that would be scary.
That would scare the heck out of me.
Because I think a lot of people with aliens, they think it's like a government is into it somehow.
Yeah.
A lot of people think like, oh, the government is abducting you and they're posing as aliens, or like they're working with the government or something. So, depending on what she had, I would actually probably be scared.
Yo, what about you, Kelsey? Like, well, how would you react to that?
Why did you come up with this? Let's start with that.
I don't even know.
No,
I really don't.
Nah, she just
I haven't been
she's been
abducted
thinking about
myself.
aliens.
Aw, we're like dissing you. Like, yeah, right.
It's like, oh, I'll never tell you guys. No, I don't know. I think if my dad told me something like that, like I wouldn't know how to react. Like I would think he was joking, because
Right.
he jokes a lot. But if he was like dead serious, I don't know, because I couldn't picture him with like some kind of mental thing, like you said. Like I would just be like, what do you mean? Like, were you just like really drunk or something? Like, I don't know what I would do.
See, I don't. My mom wouldn't like. She wouldn't drink that much, so I wouldn't even think of that. I'd just be like, first the mental thing, then like if she had proof, I would just be scared, because I don't know who would go to that length to unless it is a mental thing, who would go to that length to like set this all up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, mom's been working a little too long. She's falling off the rocker, man. She's gone a little cuckoo. But yo, that's actually an interesting thing that you brought up, though, Kelsey. How do you guys feel about aliens, though? Do you think aliens exist?
That's why I wanted to bring this up, because it's like we can talk about aliens.
Okay.
Last show, aliens. You start, Marcus.
I believe. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say I believe they exist, but I feel as though, like, possibility-wise, it wouldn't make sense for them not to exist.
Yeah.
You know?
You had a word that's so oppositely.
Yeah, it's strange. You know?
Double negatives.
Yeah. But I mean, just like it's weird to think that we would be, as humans, the only I guess sentient race here in the universe. So like there's like tons of galaxies which are way bigger than anything we can really comprehend and stuff like that. So I don't see why there wouldn't be at least one other alien species that exists out there. And like I said, probability wise, like it doesn't make sense for them not to exist.
Yeah, I think that's like the general consensus when you ask most people, and I think that makes sense. Like, so many scientists have said that like something else has to live out there. Like, there's properties similar to Earth found in like other planets or even like other moons, and I just think there's no way we're alone in the universe. But I don't know if we'll ever get to like meet something else.
Yeah. What about you, Clark?
Well, I think it's important to like understand as a human that you do not know everything going on in the universe.
Yeah.
Because you said a lot of people would say that, and I think our generation, like a lot of people like, oh, maybe there is, but I think like a lot of old people would be like, hell no. But so yeah, I think like just in general for anything out there is like literally anything could be possible. Like, your conspiracy theories of like how many dimensions or what is that one where it's like different dimensions, but like one thing has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, parallel dimensions.
Yeah, like parallel universes.
Stuff like that. So I think
String theory.
yeah. I think you should really try to be as open as possible, but also accept the fact that, like Kelsey said, I don't think we'll ever know for sure. And I think that's kind of the purpose of them, possibly. Like, we're not supposed to know, maybe. So yeah, I think if like my mom actually came and said that and she had proof, like I feel like either I would turn it down and get angry, or I would be like, okay, you're telling the truth. Like, it is hard to say. But I would hope I would like support her, because I feel like a lot of people, no one supports them if they say something like that. And even if you don't believe it, you should like still support your mom and be nice to her. So
Okay, what if she, like, going back to the hypothetical, like, what if she came back with like a message of some kind? She's like, these aliens are coming, they're plotting
God.
the end of the Earth, they want the human race dead. Like, what would you do in that case? Like, would you still continue to be skeptical, or would you like tell somebody?
Yeah, we'd have to tell somebody, like, mental health counselor. But no, seriously, like, if there was, like, real, I mean, proof that would make me actually sway. I would tell somebody, whether it's, even the local police, like they can do anything. But, even if like I'll tell like the local police and then they might take it to a higher power like the government or something. I don't know. But like, yeah, somebody does need to know. So I would tell somebody. I'd take me and my mama, we go to the place together and be like, yo, you hear this? Something about to go down.
But there's also stories of people, I don't know what they're called, that believe the world is ending. And they have like huts in the ground and all this. Like they literally ruin their relationship with their family because I forget. This is just popping in my head, but I read something or I heard something. It was like this guy, he truly believes it's happening, but every time his family would visit him, he'd like try and force them to like help him out and stuff, and they'd get angry and he'd ask for money all the time. So like a lot of these situations can turn really bad if the person's almost taking advantage of their family. Again, like a mental thing possibly. But yeah, so the whole ending of the earth thing is a little like, to me, that would kind of turn it a different way. I'd be like more skeptical, I think, because I think that's like, why is that always the thing people choose for aliens?
Yeah, and people always talk about the end of the earth. They say 2000 was going to be the year that, the earth stopped, or then they had what, 2014?
2012.
2012, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they got it on so many years, and it's like every year that comes around, we're still here.
I actually know a guy, I'll call him Cliffy, I don't even know his name, but he was like my aunt's neighbor, but he had like an underground bunker, like it was filled with like food and like,
Yo, legit in Florida?
canned food. No, in Massachusetts.
I was going to say, like, if he had an underground one in Florida, then that guy really
Believes.
was like, he really believes.
It's like
Because there is
flooded.
nothing here in Florida.
Yeah, but no, he had like canned food, he had like blankets, he has all this stuff. He's ready for like the apocalypse. But I feel like it's like cool to be safe. Like even like if you want like a panic room, like that's always good. Like just go hide under your house. But I don't know, like that's so crazy to like have this thought that I have to plan for the end of the world and I'm ready, and it's just weird.
It's also sad too, because their whole life is them like worrying about this
Yeah.
happening, and like they're always upset that their family doesn't want to do it with them. But also, I kind of agree this is a weird thought, but I've always been like, okay, like an underground like room though, where I could just hang out and like
Yeah.
no one knows of it, like that would be pretty cool.
Right?
I wouldn't use it. Well, I mean, and what if like an earthquake comes or something? I can just hide in it there.
Exactly.
A little hidden room. That's pretty cool.
So it's kind of smart, but
Like the Panic Room, the movie. I'm like, wow, I kind of want one of those.
I love that movie. I want one.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie.
And it's Jodie Foster and young Kristen Stewart.
Get to it.
Kristen Stewart. That's the girl on.
Twilight.
That's her. Okay. Yeah. See, I know my actresses, man. I know my actors.
You didn't know what Panic Room was?
Yeah, I got no idea what that
Do
is.
you know who
but,
Jodie Foster is?
no, who's that?
I love Jodie.
Tell me a movie that she's in that I'd probably know.
You probably don't know Silence of the Lambs.
I know Silence of the Lambs.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's it about?
I mean, I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it.
Okay. No, she's the main girl in that.
Isn't that about the Jewish people?
No, it's about a cannibal.
Oh, dang. What's the Jewish one then?
Schindler's List?
Maybe. Whatever.
Is that
Anyway.
about Jewish people? I don't know.
This is
I'm just like
terrible.
naming all these things. But yeah,
Oh,
so,
I was thinking the boy in the striped pajamas.
Oh, what? Sounds
Girl,
like
boy.
It was close,
Boy.
Silence of the Lambs, boy in the I don't know. Whatever.
Wow.
But anyway, back to the alien thing. What I think is interesting is that people don't believe in aliens, at least some people don't, because of religion. And I think
That's
I think that's really interesting. Like, for example, Christianity, people will say, oh yeah, well, God doesn't talk about aliens in the Bible. But it's like, does that really mean that they don't exist? Like, for example, even if God exists and the Bible is correct and all that stuff, that doesn't mean aliens don't exist. Like, for example, the government, you think that the government tells us everything that we know or everything that we need to know?
He's a
or everything? Yeah, of
conspiracist.
course. Like, seriously, like, it's only expected. Like, the government's not going to tell us everything, just like how your parents don't tell you everything. And it's the same type of thing. Like, why would God tell us everything? Like, if there's aliens, like, millions of miles away or like millions of light years away, like, why would he tell us about these aliens? Like, they have no impact on our life.
Or what if he doesn't know about them?
Yeah, wait, what? I mean, if it's a God, he would know about him, right?
You don't know.
Yeah, I think with the religious people, like, it's so crazy that they don't want to teach even things like evolution and general science. Like, there's so many people against that, even though it's like, it's kind of proven to be correct.
Mm-hmm.
But also on the government, I think, for me, I kind of like low-key think that the government is like hiding, kind of, not like aliens, but like,
Hope the FBI doesn't listen to this.
hey FBI, NSA, hey. No, but I feel like something's had to have happened and the government's keeping it under wraps.
You think like something's happened from an alien point, Like
Yeah.
something alien has happened.
Yeah, like they gotta have like some kind of proof of something.
I mean, it's only understandable for the government to hide some things, you know, because if, for example, there's some kind of alien interaction that happened, and then the government let everybody know about it, I mean, that would cause riots. I mean, that could like completely flip the peace that we have on the planet right now. So I mean, it's understandable. Like, of course, like you don't want to be lied to or you don't want to be deceived, but at the same time, I mean, sometimes it's for protection. Like it's just to keep the peace around here.
Like the movie Arrival, they literally hide. They're talking to the aliens and they hide it because everyone's going to be scared.
See, that's why like the one thing Donald Trump tweeting would be good about is if he like knew about aliens and he would just tell it to the world because he would just tweet it. He'd be like, "Yo, aliens are real."
No, but like
Sad.
There's like a huge like conspiracy undercover, like the presidents know about UFOs and like they saw them or something. I don't know, like I don't know the whole story, but it's a huge thing that you're right. I feel like in this whole time that we've been on this earth, there has to be of something.
Yeah, and it is like based in conspiracy, but even like the X-Files, like I know that a lot of that's fictional, but some of it's like based on just real like myths and legends and stories, and it's like you never know.
Never know. All right, guys. We have 2 questions today. Actually, we haven't answered questions in a really long time, so I think not to keep saying last episode, but you know, I think we should do it.
No, we need to keep saying it. This is our last episode.
Till fall.
Cry. Ever.
No, seriously, I'm gonna miss doing this podcast with y'all, man. Fall semester can't come quick enough.
I feel you.
Said no one else ever.
True. Buy sound advice.
Nah, my summer's not even gonna be fun though. I mean, anyway, that's why I'm looking forward to fall. Anyway, yeah, hit us with those questions though.
Who's gonna read them?
You read the first one.
Or is it Kim's?
It's Muffy's.
Muffy's. Now we can say this person. All right, this is from Kim B. Thanks, Kim B, for submitting. Kim B asks, people always think that if you don't go to college, you're not doing anything with your life. I haven't been to college, and sometimes I feel like they're right. Does not getting an education make me a failure?
Absolutely not. So, Kim B, you keep doing your thing, girl.
Good advice, Marcus. But also, I think the obvious answer is no, it doesn't make you a failure. And I think in today's day and age, like it really proves that. Because now a lot of people are saying, oh, like if you don't get a master's degree, you really don't have any chance. So it's like, what's the point of going through undergrad and master's just to get like a decent job if you have another outlet, which a lot of people, you know, it kind of makes sense if you're going to start working in high school and then just keep working and save up. Like you're going to start off with a lot more money, honestly. I mean, it's a choice, but like, for example, my brother, he hated school going through high school. He just really didn't like it, which is understandable. And he finished online school, and then the year right after college, with the help of my parents, which obviously is a huge aspect of it, he opened his own comic book store, and he, like, for an entire year, he really was into it. He was doing well and stuff. So I think if you have a passion before you graduate high school or right after, I think if you don't need an education for it, then go for it.
Yeah, I think for some people, education is just not their thing. And I don't know if that's the case for Kim B, whoever you are. But I don't know, for like, school just doesn't work with people. Some people don't do well in academics, and, you know, that's okay. And even if you don't want, like, a huge job somewhere, like, even if, you know, you're working, like, food service or whatever you're doing, I think that's acceptable, and some people really like that. But if you don't, also, it's okay to go to even, like, community colleges or actually one day attend a university. Like, there's always time. Like, my grandma, she was really poor and, like, around our age. Like, she was having kids. Like, she had 6 kids in the span of, like, a couple of years. And it was crazy. And she was really poor. She couldn't afford to feed her family. But at the age of 35, she went back to school and she became a nurse. And now she's, like, overly successful. It's crazy. Yeah, like, it's never too late for anyone to just continue with their education.
Yeah, I feel as though the sky's the limit, and that's regardless of your educational experience. So whether you have a bachelor's, master's, doctorates, or no degree, I mean, the sky's still the limit. Like, you don't have to conform to the way society wants you to have some kind of job. So, for example, you could be an inventor. You could invent something. You can be an entrepreneur, you know, invest in stuff. I mean, you don't have to go the way where it's like you get this degree and then you get this job. So there's just unlimited possibilities. But I will say that it's somewhat easier to get, you know, certain jobs with the degree, you know. So, for example, if you want to be an engineer, it's easier to go to an engineering hiring area with an engineering degree. You know, so like you can still make it happen with, for example, experience. If you have experience doing things, you have connections. Like you could still make ways to make things happen. But just in a general sense, it's easier to have a degree and then have, you know, certain possibilities be open to you. Just because a lot of jobs will not accept you unless you have one.
Yeah, I don't like I obviously I don't know much, but I don't think you can be an engineer without like an actual degree, just because there's so much into that. But if your job, what you want to do in the future, is not something like that or something math based or science based, honestly, a lot of majors, it kind of just reinforces things that you could learn on your own. And it's fine to go to college and learn them, but at the end of the day, you're saving a lot more money, and if you have a good starting place, you can go far. And I think, I mean, even if you don't, like Kelsey said, like my grandma, she went to college with my mom at the same time she was doing it. I don't really know the reasoning, but I don't think she wanted to at the time. And then at the end of the day, she did. She actually became a massage therapist, which I don't think she went to school for, but she still did it to learn a lot. She's one of the smartest people I know. So I think sometimes it's a little underappreciated. College, instead of like your career, it like teaches you other things, like depending on what you take. Like for example, for me, I have a history minor and I've learned way more than I can ever have learned on my own because I don't have that motivation. So for me, college is a motivation to do things and go forward with my career, because I feel like if I wasn't in college, I wouldn't have that motivation.
Yeah, and honestly, like, even if you don't get an education, you'd be surprised by how far you can get with two things. And one of them is connections. So, like, maybe ask around, like, your community or, like, your friends. And if they have, like, cool jobs that you'd maybe want to do, just be like, hey, recommend me. And you'd be surprised how easy you can get a job just by knowing somebody.
Yep.
And then the second thing, which isn't maybe sound advice, but also just lying. Like, like, straight up, like, on your resume, if you just, like, BS a lot of things, or you're just like, I have this skill, this skill, this skill. If you get hired, just learn that skill, like Google some tutorials, and then just go in the office and be like, I'm here, I'm ready to work. Like there's somebody online that I follow, and they basically do that. Like they're in the film industry, and they have like all these like weird set jobs, and basically they tell the internet like, I lied to get here. Like I had no idea what I was doing until like the night before I worked here.
Dang.
Yeah, I think
that's the way to get it.
Oh, sorry. I think connections are a huge thing. Like literally, so many interviews with just celebrities and like film directors and stuff. They're like, "Oh, I just knew someone." Yeah. So that's a huge proponent.
And here's the sad part about that, though. It's just that, I mean, you can't really, I guess. I mean, you can try to get connections, but at the same time, like you're only gonna get so many, right? Yeah. And it's not like you can choose your connections, right? So it's like if I was to choose, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take this connection where I'm definitely gonna get this job, or I'm definitely gonna get this kind of pay and stuff like that. I mean, like, but at the same time, it's kind of an up in the air type thing, you know? It's kind of you get the lucky draw, you know? It's like, for example, my mother, she works at Florida Gulf Coast University, and so because of that, I got connections to work there, which, you know, I was fortunate to work there. But like, if she didn't do that, I mean, I almost certainly wouldn't have been working there, especially like in the department that I was in. Like, I might have been able to work like food service or something, but I mean, probably not, you know, it was like a business company that I was working with, which was awesome. But like I said, I mean, it's like pure connections, and I couldn't really choose that connection, you know, it just happened.
Yeah, I think that's unfortunate, but also like use it to your advantage. Like, even if you have a job at a food service place, like if you treat your coworkers and your boss nice, like you don't know what their connections are to other people. Like maybe they know someone who is in the film industry and that's what you want to do. Like you have no idea what their actual background connections are, what they did in a past life. So I think just the general idea of being nice to everyone and kind of keeping them on your, like, I guess, quote unquote friends list, not like actual friends list, but like keeping them in the back of your mind of like, here's someone I could potentially talk to for this in the future.
Yeah. So Kim, you know, you do you. If you want to pursue school, you can do it, but it's not the end of the world if you don't.
Yeah. You go, girl.
All right, and then our second question is from Josh M. And
what up, Josh?
He kind of has a hypothetical of his own. And it's basically, all right, he says, all right, what would you guys advise me to do? If I had to choose a future without pizza or without Chinese food, which one should I pick?
Oh, heck nah. Josh.
Me and Kelsey have an idea of what Marcus would say.
What am I gonna say?
Well, no, you gotta say it first.
Okay.
See if we're right.
Look, Josh, pizza's great, man. So I totally understand where you're coming from. But dude, you cannot give up Chinese food, dude. You can't do it, dude. It's just not happening.
We were right.
Yeah, that's what we predicted.
It just can't happen, man. You just can't do it.
I'm total opposite. Like Chinese food, you can go away. Pizza all the way.
No way. I mean, pizza's great. I love pizza. But like, especially Chinese food, because like there's so many variations.
That's what my thing is. Chinese food has way more options. Like pizza, like
if you were to say like Italian food and Chinese food, then like you can say it either way. But like just pizza and then like the whole buffet of Chinese food, like come on, man.
also pizza you can kind of make in a different way. Just do pasta and cheese and marinara, and you kind of have a pizza.
Nah, you need that like bread in there. Pizza's just glorious. There's so many different kinds of pizza.
Not really.
Yeah, there's like deep dish. There's thin crust. There's
Yeah, but would you ever have
Different
something
cheese.
other than like your normal one? You know, like you don't
a lot.
like Chinese food. You get to explore all the time because it's on the menu. But like
I always get the same thing at Chinese places.
What do
And
you
I don't
get,
get
though?
Chinese
What
that
do you
often.
get,
I get
though?
pizza like every week, like sometimes more than once a week.
oh my god,
I'm just like pizza all day,
I
every
wish.
day.
Too broke.
But the Chinese, I'm just like once a year.
Once a year.
I'm not
Oh
a
my
big, I'm not
god.
a big fan, honestly.
Yo, back when I was a senior in high school, me and my best friend, we used to actually go to this one Chinese place because they had this awesome lunch special. So it was cheap and they gave you a lot of food. And we would go there almost every day. It was really bad for us. Like I think we gained a lot of weight senior year
Probably.
because of that.
Yeah, we can't talk. We went to McDonald's like every day.
That's very true.
We didn't like eat all the time, but still, we like some reason went there.
That was our hangout in town because there's nothing else in our town.
I think that was a very similar place for every high school student. Because I used to hang out at McDonald's a lot too, even if we didn't buy anything.
Right?
We would just like loiter. Actually,
Yeah,
Or
just
get like a
loitering.
coffee and just sit for hours.
really quick on the question though, I actually like. I love Chinese food, but at the same time, like I'm thinking about the taste of pizza right now, and I'm with Kelsey. I do get it way more than Chinese food. Like I haven't got Chinese food in a long time, so I would miss it, but I'm gonna have to stay with pizza.
Yes.
Because like think of all the events in your life you eat pizza at and like
Right?
it not being there, you know?
Yeah, but think about if you replace that with Chinese food though.
That's not gonna always
Oh
be the case.
yes.
All right, on that note, guys, Sound Advice is out.
Are we gonna talk about our summer? What are we guys?
Oh,
what are we
true.
doing?
Let's talk about our summer really quick because we're kind of running out of time here. But Marcus, what you doing? What's your summer plans?
Okay, so after all these exams and projects that I have to do, I'm gonna be in town for a little bit to try to hang out with you guys and go skydiving.
Woo!
I
We're
feel like
doing
that's not
that.
planned at all.
We're doing that, right?
Perhaps.
We're
We'll
doing
podcast
it.
while we're doing it.
True. Sound advice from the sky.
But
It's
that
like
is
the
the
wind
plan. That
sound.
is the plan. So I want to do that. After we do that, I plan on going back to my hometown, chilling with the familia. You know how we do it. Get a job and then do summer A. I have to do a couple classes.
Online?
Yeah. No, actually, no. They're both not in online.
You
They're
realize
in
like
class.
summer A starts really quick, right?
Yeah.
You have like a week.
It's like May 8th or something like that.
So, do you have a place to live over summer here?
Oh, I'm not taking them here. I'm taking them
Oh,
in my
I-
hometown.
Oh,
okay.
I was like, Mark?
it's like this sounds too
Yeah,
casual.
yeah. It's going to be in my hometown. Yeah.
Okay.
Got you. That makes sense.
But besides that, I'm just going to be working, trying to get a little money and hyping it up for next fall.
Nice.
What about you guys?
I'm studying abroad in Berlin.
Ooh.
Oh, snap.
Wasn't gonna do it, but really last minute I was like, I haven't been to Europe before, so that's a 2-week course, so that's not too long. It's like a photojournalism course.
It's awesome.
And then I randomly just got this position in a Maine summer camp, which like I just found online, honestly. But it's as a photographer, so I'm going to Maine where I've never been. Hopefully the weather's nice.
True. Probably will be.
I'll be gone from my cat for 2 months.
And Milo, right? Are you bringing him?
Yes, no, I can't bring him.
Ooh.
Hopefully my
okay.
mom can take care of him. But I mean, she does for like a weekend, but like obviously 2 months is way different.
Yeah.
So yeah, my pets will miss me a lot, and hopefully I don't miss out too much, going on down here. But hopefully it'll be fun.
Man, ain't nothing going on
Yeah,
down
you'll miss
here.
nothing.
I don't know.
Go to
sometimes
Europe,
it's
girl.
like, sometimes it's like,
FOMO.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
For me, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm still kind of waiting to hear back from like internships, but I don't think any are gonna happen.
Don't say that.
You're right. But otherwise, I'll probably work a couple days here and then head home for quite some time. I want to work on like films and stuff.
You know what y'all didn't say?
Do it.
Y'all didn't say we're going skydiving.
Yeah, we're gonna go
We're
skydiving.
doing that.
I'm going to Georgia this weekend, so that's something. And then final papers, and then the rest of the summer is a mystery.
Why aren't you going to but you're going to Georgia again, right? Or you don't know for sure?
I haven't bought tickets yet, but I probably will.
What you doing in Georgia?
This weekend I'm getting paid. I'm working. And then in June I have to go back for that festival for the short film I did.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Getting that director rec.
Maybe. But yeah, I want to work more on creative stuff this summer.
You do it, girl.
Maybe even write a little.
You do it.
New novel coming out. Never.
Hey.
Look out for it on the shelves.
I already got it.
But yeah.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
that was
guys.
sound advice.
Some sound advice.
That was going to be the final episode for the spring semester. Yeah, this is spring.
Everyone say their little thing that they want to say. Go ahead.
Marcus?
Oh, I'm just gonna say, listeners, we really appreciate you listening to our 11 episodes. It was quite a journey. I feel like as we went on, we really connected more and were able to talk more about what we wanted to. So thank you guys so much, Kelsey and Marcus, also for doing this with me. And I think fall is gonna be really, really, really fun.
How sweet.
Hey, fall's going to be awesome. But yeah, as for you listeners, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. It's been real, and it's only going to get realer. Next season is going to be hype. So let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Bro, be on the lookout. Be on the
That's
lookout.
a good idea. We should do that. Anyways, Kelsey, your little thing.
Actually, Josh M., who submitted the question today, he called us Soundies, but I think you guys are the true Soundies. So thanks for supporting us. Thanks for listening.
I like that.
Yeah,
The listeners are the soundies.
the Soundies. So thanks for being here. Thanks for following along.
We love you.
Hope you guys follow our advice.
And see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya.